Okay, welcome back to lesson 40. Okay, diving straight in. I have fast forward this really fast for the first few minutes, as this is literally just a rinse and repeat of what we have previously done. Sometimes when you've made and you can select your edge loop all the way around in circle, just like then, you can actually just extrude and scale in, and then it might make things a little easier when filling in stuff in the middle. Also, the worst thing to do is if you have an end gun at the last face. It's kind of frustrating and annoying. Just have a look around, make sure there's any edge loops or any spare vertices you can use to create your quads to make a nice quad flow. There's been a few times in the last few lessons I've just the quad flow's okay. I may go back and redo it. I've done this for some time now, and 9 times out of 10 I'm always going back over it off screen. So many hours have been put into this. I like to sometimes put a nice little guide when I'm using the Retopology. And by the way, if you need to go back and sculpt to make it even more noticeable, more obvious, for you to place the vertices into place when you're retropologizing it, absolutely go ahead and do it. It does help, as I have definitely come to notice in the past few years of doing this. So it definitely helps. Right, so as we are fast forwarding this up, if you've made it this far to lesson 40 and you've listened to all my other lessons, congratulations. You must be sick of my voice by now, because I know I surely am. So, as we are just linking up face to face with the vertices and the edges, I hope I'm not boring you too much. This is a very tedious job. However, it's very rewarding. I cannot wait until you see the final results of this. It does look pretty good. And again, off screen, went over a few bits and pieces. Don't be afraid to take the snapping tool off if you feel like hang on, it shouldn't snap to that part of the sculpt. Don't worry, take it off, make it look nice. Now's the time to spend time on making it look good instead of on the sculpt model. So now we've done all the trimming. Well, trimming. I mean, now we've done all the gold parts of the retopology of the model. What we're going to do is we're going to add a subdivision surface modifier. We're going to make it look a little sharper. I wouldn't go any higher than maybe 2 viewports, 2 levels. We do want to keep this really low, so we might just stick to 1 for the end before rigging. We're going to have a look over the whole topology count before actually confirming any of the modifiers. But now what we're going to do is we are going to add creases into the model. As you can see there, the 3-button emulate if you're using graphics tablet. Sometimes you might want to untick that in order to select your edge loops. To increase edges of your object, just when you select your edge loop, just press Shift E, and as high as the crease can go is +1. So I've done +1 on all my creases. So the good thing about this is, and what I didn't do here when I was doing this, is to also add a sharp, the mark sharp, but that's not a problem, because if you select on one edge loop of that you've creased, you can press Shift G and select all the crease edges, and then you can then right click and go to mark sharp, which I do later on. So after you've creased all the edges that you want to crease to make it look really nice, like so, we're just going to select and go all the way around the model, making sure we're selecting all the right parts. Sometimes a bit trial and error as well, like for example, You might accidentally select the wrong edge loop, but that's not to worry. You can just go back over and reselect it. Don't know why I did not crease the front bit there, because I would have done that. I think I went back over later on and did that. Watching back through this, sometimes I realise a few things I've missed, but that's okay. So now we're actually going to fill in the other faces. So what I have done here is a new little technique here I'm going to show. Now I'm just extruding the vertices. Not sure what happened there. Okay, just have to fix that. I'm just extruding these vertices and pushing them, or well, extruding them and putting them all the way down to the bottom. Not really counting. When we use the little tool called grid fill, sometimes we would count. Okay, I couldn't join these together. You can join them together by pressing F. Sometimes it doesn't always work. It's a bit hit and miss, unless Blender has updated this, and it does fix that. It does work now. So anyway, I've just merging these two vertices together, snapping them together. That definitely helps, and then just merging them all together. So I'm going to show you a little technique here. So we're going to select all the edges around that one face we want to do. Obviously we can't just press F because that's just one giant N-gon. As you can see, we want to click on face, go down to grid fill. Now what that does is, as you can see, it sort of calculates where you want all the grid to be filled out. In this case it wasn't too bad. Okay, the grid's gone inside, but what we'll do is we'll just tidy that up and bring it all out again. I'm going to skip past that and not fill you in with the boring bits. But yes, it's also good to sometimes just go back to sculpt mode and just pull them all out and replace them back on top of the sculpt, and just smooth it down and just pull the vertices in and out, just like we have been doing for the last couple of videos. So, and again, for the other gaps, as you can see, going all the way around, we are literally just selecting our vertices and filling in the faces. It doesn't always have to be a perfect quad, well, a perfect square or rectangle, as long as there is 4 vertices, 4 edges and a face. That's all that really matters. It definitely helps for later modifications, and if the faces are too stretched out or they need changing, I think from my experience it's easier to edit these. So after we've filled out all the faces, vertex groups is what I have used to select different parts of the arm. Can come in very handy indeed. I won't go over that now, but I can do another lesson later on. So vertex group is after I've selected all the faces, I have assigned all the faces to one vertex group. So then I can just select that for later on when I want to color the mesh. So as you can see, we've now filled in all the parts that we want to, and now we're going to add some color, I think, into the viewport shading up the top. So I'm just going over, making sure I've selected everything. We've still got the mirror modifier turned on, so that's good. So we're going to switch over now to the color shader viewport, and at the top there, and then now we're just going to change color. Going to select all the gold and then turn this all to gold. We're going to add the metallic and roughness up, turn the specular up as well, why not, and turn roughness down to about 0.2, so it's not too shiny. And I'm just going to give that a quick name just for now. And then we're going to go over to the vertex groups. And now's a good time to just so we can now select all the vertex groups, which is all the faces that we had previously done. Add in a new color. We're going to maybe do like a Swifty purple. I'm pretty sure you see my logo and banners. It's all like a nice dark purple. I don't know why that color. It's always been that color from many years. But yes, we're also going to put the specular metallic up, and then again roughness to 0.2. And voila, we're starting to get somewhere something that's looking really cool. So now we're just going to do the blade. Now same rules apply, but a little bit different now. I was trying to With the blade, we want to keep it nice and straight. So what I'm going to do here is make all the vertices on the right hand side basically match up on the x-axis on the left, and we're going to make sure we're going to keep that in a straight line. So to keep all the vertices in a straight line, you can select one vertex and then hold Control, select the top vertex. You can press Scale on the 0 axis on the you can scale on the x-axis to 0, and it will snap all the vertices on the 0 scale to the x. So as you can see, they all stay straight, and then we're just extruding it down on the z-axis. And we're just keeping an eye, making sure we have enough vertices for when we are snapping later on. Anyway, once we filled that all in, I'm not going to bore you, I'm going to skip past that. Filled that all in, we'll come down to the blade. Now I've just extruded and brought the bottom bit of the edge loop all the way to the bottom of the blade. Not all the way to the bottom, I'm going to bring it up a little bit just to the top area before it curves. And then I'm just going to play around with the bottom bit. Add some edge loops around the middle there. I think I'm going to put like 10 in. And then I'm just going to scale this down. But actually, I'm just going to move the right hand side and just extrude and then move the right hand side. I want to keep the left hand side a bit straight. There we go. Like so. And then just make it nice and pretty, to make a nice sharp blade. Then once I've done this, I don't know why the edge creases were at the bottom there. Well, that would be because I extruded from the top. That's okay. So we'll just make the blade nice and sharp using the creases that we did previously and the mark sharp. So I hope that's everything, and I'll catch you in the next lesson.